Hi, I'm Mike with Elite Investigations, and this is Behind the Investigation. You know, every year, over 600,000 people are reported missing in the United States. Most are found, some leave by choice, others vanish without a trace. Among those most invisible, the homeless, the mentally ill, those living without a safety net, and often without anyone searching for them. When someone has no phone, no ID, no permanent address, they can disappear quietly and stay gone. These aren't the cases that make headlines. There's no breaking news alert, just silence and a growing list of names we'll never learn. In today's episode, we'll follow the story of one such woman. She went by the street name of Sunshine. But her real story, that took some digging to uncover. Before we begin, a quick note for my viewers. The story you're about to see is based on a real investigation I conducted. But out of respect for the privacy of my clients and the families involved, some names, faces, and identifying details have been changed. Most of the visuals you'll see today are AI generated or recreations, meant to depict key moments from the case. They are not photographs of the real people or locations involved. This is a reenactment, not a documentary. But the heart of the investigation and the loss behind it are very real. I'm Mike, and this is Behind the Investigation. It began like most cases do, not with a press conference or headlines, just a knock on my office door. A man named Brian stood there, nervous, tired. He told me he had been searching every place he could think of to find his sister, Rachel. He says she hasn't been seen in weeks, and she hasn't called him, which is out of the ordinary. She had struggled with mental health issues, and sometimes she would disappear for a day or two, but never this long. And he needed to know if she was okay. With my years of experience in law enforcement and private investigation, and the connections I've built within the Billings community, I knew where to start. She lived on the fringe. She was a regular at downtown shelters. She was known by outreach workers and the local cops. So I started checking several of the local dive bars, the kind of places where people fall through the cracks. Asking around, showing her photo. One bartender remembered her, said she came in alone, but looked scared. She didn't even finish her drink. I ended up spending days and nights driving around downtown Billings, circling the parks and the alleys and some of the abandoned buildings. So I got a tip that she was last seen near the underpass by 3rd Avenue and the rail yard, not far from the bus depot. She had picked up a warm meal from a mobile van. Some of the folks remember her as Sunshine, they called her. Real sweet. A few said she left with a man in a van, an older guy, protective, controlling. No one knew his name, but everyone remembered the way he didn't like her talking to anyone. One man described how the guy used to pick her up by the alley near the shelter, He told me he had a bad feeling watching them drive off one night. So I went around and tried to pull all the surveillance footage I can from local businesses. And I caught a glimpse. A van matching the description. Same time, same place, but I could never get a clear plate. It was frustrating. The deeper I looked, the more invisible she became. You know, homeless isn't just about a lack of a place to sleep. It's about being forgotten. No digital trail, no paper trail. So I had to go back and check all the shelters, the 2 hospitals, the detox centers. Nothing under her name. And then I got a quiet tip from one of the social workers I'd been talking to. She said I should try the county coroner's office. Those words hit me like a punch. Because I know from my experience that there's a drawer in every city marked for Jane Doe. And this one had her name. She'd been found 2 weeks earlier behind a dumpster. No ID, no purse. Initial cause of death? A fall with a suspected overdose. But no toxicology report had come back yet. I had to call her brother Brian in to my office. I showed him a photo of the body. He didn't speak for a long time. He just stared at it. He then nodded and whispered, "That's her. That's Rachel." Now, most cases would end here, but not this one. Brian wanted answers. Was it really an overdose, or did someone hurt her? That's when this case became a different kind of case. No longer a missing persons, now a possible homicide. So I returned to the alley where she was last found. I took photos and studied all the different angles. I noted some broken glass and some possible drag marks. Things that didn't match of an accidental fall or a drug overdose. I pulled the police reports. The responding officer noted bruising, inconsistent with a simple fall or a drug overdose. The medical examiner had doubts also. And by now, the toxicology did come back with high levels of fentanyl, but also signs of physical trauma, defensive wounds on her hands. So I had to go out and canvass again and try to find witnesses. I had to speak to more folks near the shelters. One woman said she saw a man yelling at Sunshine days before she vanished. He'd grabbed her arm, real rough. She said she didn't want to get involved though. So then I started staking out the area, watching for 3 long days. And then I spotted him. The same man, the same van. And I started following him around. I watched him pick up another woman outside of the shelter. And that was enough for me to file another police report. I handed everything off to the local law enforcement. As of now, nothing has come of it, at least not yet. No charges, no arrest. But the case does still remain open. The file marked Jane Doe now has a name and someone asking the right questions. We tell these stories not just to mourn what was lost, but to remind ourselves that behind every Jane Doe is a life. A sister, a daughter, someone's friend. The system might miss them, but we never will. As a private investigator, we dig deeper. We ask the hard questions, even sometimes when the answers hurt. Thank you for joining us today. And let's continue to shine light on these important issues together. And as always, stay safe, stay curious, and we'll uncover more mysteries together. Until next time.